Okay, y'all, today we've got a pretty cool reptile we're going to be talking about called the eastern fence lizard. This lizard gets its name from their arboreal, or tree-dwelling, nature. They were first deemed the fence lizard back when wooden fences were much more abundant in America, and they were often seen basking on the sides of fences or running up them if pursued by predators. If pursued, this lizard will often dash up the nearest tree, keeping itself on the opposite side of the tree from the predator. They are masters of camouflage and will often simply close their eyes and blend completely with the tree bark if pursued by a predator. Now, the first thing you might notice are its scales. Unlike the other lizards from my previous videos, this is a spiny lizard, characterized by its keeled, pointy scales. Now remember, keeled scales are reptile scales that have a ridge, or keel, down the center of the scale, as opposed to smooth scales which, you guessed it, are completely smooth. But why? Why do these reptiles have keeled scales, you might be asking? Well, the short answer is we don't entirely know. They most likely evolved because they afforded some evolutionary advantage. For example, we know that keeled scales are less reflective than smooth scales, so having them would reduce the shininess and make it easier for the animal to camouflage itself. Another leading thought is that they simply provide added protection. To be honest, the function and origins of keeled scales in reptiles is little studied. One thing we do know about these lizards, however, is that the males have patches of spectacular blue or bluish-green scales on their chin and venter, or underside, while the females don't. Since only the males possess these blue ventral scales, this makes the eastern fence lizard sexually dimorphic, meaning that the males and females of the same species exhibit different characteristics, or look differently. Due to sexual selection, a form of natural selection, it is actually the male of the species that evolves altered appearances in order to attract females. Crazy, right? In the case of the fence lizard, the males will often bob their heads up and down, doing push-ups as they're called, in order to show off their spectacular venters. The females then get to choose the male with the brightest, flashiest underbelly in order to ensure that her offspring, if born male, will inherit these attractive traits and have a greater chance of breeding and passing on her genes. You see, if she mates with a dull-colored lizard, then her male progeny will inherit dull colors and have a lower chance of breeding, running the risk of her genes becoming extinct from the gene pool. So that just goes to show that it's not always the survival of the fittest, but sometimes the survival of the flashiest.